My name is Claire Martinez. I'm 29 years old, and the afternoon my sister Emily spent her entire baby shower making fun of the gift I'd brought. The one I'd saved for 2 months to afford. My mother kept leaning over and whispering, "She's just emotional, hormones. You know how it is," while my father sat 3 chairs away, pretending not to hear any of it. And I stood there in the corner of my parents' living room holding an empty plate and wondering why I'd even come, when my brother-in-law Marcus stood up in the middle of the room, looked at Emily, and said 5 words that made the entire party go silent. But before I tell you what he said next, and why my sister's face went pale when he pulled an envelope out of his jacket pocket, let me ask you something. Have you ever been invited to something just so someone could make you feel small in front of people who were supposed to love you? The invitation came 3 weeks earlier, a text from Emily. "Hey, baby shower is the 15th at Mom and Dad's. You're coming, right?" I almost said no. Emily and I hadn't been close in years. She was 2 years older, married to a successful architect, living in a house in the suburbs that looked like it belonged in a magazine. I was single, working as a freelance graphic designer, living in a 1-bedroom apartment that I could barely afford. But she was my sister, and it was her first baby. So I said yes. The problem started when I went shopping for a gift. I looked at the registry. Everything on it was expensive. A $500 stroller, a $400 crib, a $300 baby monitor. I had $200 in my account after rent. So I bought what I could. A handmade wooden mobile. It was beautiful, delicate, the kind of thing you couldn't find in a store. It cost me $180, which meant I'd be eating ramen for the next 2 weeks. But it felt meaningful. I wrapped it carefully and drove to my parents' house the day of the shower. The living room was packed. Emily's friends, her co-workers, women I didn't know. My mother was in the kitchen arranging cupcakes. My father was in his usual chair by the window pretending to read the newspaper. Emily was sitting in the center of the room on a decorated chair that looked like a throne. She saw me and waved. "Claire, you made it!" I walked over and hugged her. "Congratulations." "Thanks. I'm so glad you're here." She seemed genuine. For a moment I thought maybe this would be okay. Then the gifts started. One by one, Emily's friends handed her beautifully wrapped boxes. She opened each one with exaggerated excitement. The expensive stroller, the designer diaper bag, the luxury baby blanket. Every time she opened something, she'd hold it up and gush, "Oh my God, this is perfect. You guys are too much." My mother took photos of everything. When it was my turn, I walked up and handed her my gift. She looked at the wrapping. It wasn't as polished as the others. I'd done it myself. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Thanks, Claire." She unwrapped it slowly. When she saw the mobile, she paused. "Oh, it's handmade." One of her friends leaned over. "That's cute. Very rustic." Emily set it down on the table next to the other gifts. "It's nice. Very you." The way she said it made my stomach turn. My mother appeared next to me. "That was sweet of you, Claire." But there was something in her tone, something that felt like pity. The rest of the shower continued. Emily opened more gifts, each one more expensive than the last. Then about an hour in, she picked up the mobile again. She held it up in front of everyone. "So, this is what my sister got me. I appreciate the thought, but I don't know where I'd even put this. It doesn't really match the nursery aesthetic." A few people laughed. My mother touched my arm. "She's just being honest. Don't take it personally." But it was personal. Emily kept going. Claire's always been more of a DIY kind of person. She's never really understood luxury. More laughter. I looked at my father. He was still in his chair, staring at his newspaper like he couldn't hear what was happening. Marcus, Emily's husband, was standing near the kitchen. He was watching her, his expression unreadable. I wanted to leave, but I didn't want to make a scene, so I stayed. For the next hour, Emily made small comments about my clothes, about my job, about the fact that I was still single. Every time my mother would lean over and whisper, "She's just emotional," or "You know how pregnancy is." But this wasn't about pregnancy. This was about something else. Finally, near the end of the party, Marcus stood up. He walked to the center of the room and looked at Emily. I think we need to talk. Emily frowned. What? Now? Yes, now. He pulled an envelope out of his jacket pocket and handed it to her. She opened it, confused. Inside was a printed email. She read it. Her face went pale. What is this? It's an email you sent to your friend Jessica 3 days ago. The one where you said you invited Claire to the shower specifically so you could, quote, put her in her place. The room went silent. Emily stared at him. How did you... I saw it on your laptop. You left it open. He turned to me. Claire, I'm sorry. I didn't know she was planning this. If I had, I would have told you not to come. I didn't know what to say. Emily stood up. Marcus, this is not the time. No, this is exactly the time. Because I've been watching you treat your sister like garbage for the past 2 hours, and I'm done pretending it's okay. My mother stepped forward. Marcus, she's emotional. She's cruel. And you've been enabling it. My mother's mouth opened, then closed. Marcus looked at Emily again. You invited your sister here to humiliate her. You made fun of her gift, her job, her life, in front of all these people. Why? Emily's eyes filled with tears. Because she always acts like she's so much better than me, like she doesn't care about money or status or any of it. And I'm sick of it. I stared at her. I've never acted like that. Yes, you have. You sit there in your tiny apartment with your freelance, whatever, and act like you're so above it all, like you don't need anyone, like you're so independent. Because I am, because I had to be. What's that supposed to mean? I took a breath. It means that Mom and Dad paid for your college. They helped you with your wedding. They gave you the down payment for your house, and I got none of that. My mother's face went red. That's not fair, Claire. It's true. My father finally spoke up. We helped Emily because she needed it more. And I didn't? You always figured things out on your own. You didn't need us. I needed you. I just stopped asking because you made it clear I wasn't a priority. The room was completely silent. Marcus looked at me. I'm sorry for all of this. He turned to Emily. We're leaving. Emily stared at him. What? We're leaving. And when we get home, we're going to have a very long conversation about how you treat people. He walked to the door. Emily followed him, crying. They left. The other guests started gathering their things, awkward and quiet. My mother tried to approach me, but I stepped back. Don't, Claire. I need to go. I walked out to my car and sat there for a long time. Then my phone buzzed. A text from Marcus. I meant what I said. You didn't deserve that. I'm going to make sure Emily understands that. And I'm going to make sure she apologizes. A real apology. I stared at the message. Then I typed back, thank you. 2 weeks passed before I heard from Emily. I went back to my life, back to work, back to my apartment. I tried not to think about the shower, but every time I sat down to eat the ramen I'd bought to stretch my grocery budget, I remembered standing in that room holding a gift I could barely afford while my sister made me the punchline. My mother called twice. I didn't answer. She left voicemails saying we needed to talk, that I was overreacting, that Emily was going through a lot with the pregnancy, and I needed to be more understanding. I deleted them. My father didn't call at all. Then, on a Tuesday evening, my phone rang. Emily's name appeared on the screen. I almost let it go to voicemail, but I answered. Claire? Her voice was quiet, different than I'd heard it in years. Yeah. Can we talk? In person? I don't know if that's a good idea. Please, I need to explain some things, and I need to apologize. For real. I was silent for a moment. Marcus will be there too, she added. He thinks we need to do this together. Fine. When? Tomorrow? We can meet at that coffee shop on Maple, the one we used to go to. Okay. 2:00. Thank you, Claire. She hung up. I sat there staring at my phone, trying to figure out what I was walking into. The next day I arrived at the coffee shop early. I ordered a tea and sat by the window. Emily and Marcus arrived together. Emily looked tired. Her face was puffy, and she wasn't wearing makeup, which was unusual for her. Marcus looked serious but calm. They sat down across from me. For a moment nobody said anything, then Emily spoke. I'm sorry. I didn't respond. She continued. I'm sorry for what I did at the shower, for inviting you just to make myself feel better, for making fun of your gift, for all of it. Why did you do it?" She looked down at her hands. "Because I was jealous." I stared at her. "Of what? Of you? Of the fact that you don't need anyone, that you built a life on your own without mom and dad's help, that you're happy even though you don't have what I have. I'm not happy all the time, Emily. I struggle. I work constantly just to make rent. I eat ramen so I can afford to buy gifts for people who don't appreciate them." She looked up, tears in her eyes. "I know, and I knew that when I bought all that expensive stuff for the registry. I knew you couldn't afford it, and I think part of me wanted to rub it in your face. Why? Because it made me feel like I'd won something, like I was finally better at something than you. Better at what? At life, at being successful, at being the daughter mom and dad were proud of." I felt something twist in my chest. Marcus spoke up. After the shower, Emily and I had a long talk, a really long talk, and I made her look at some things she's been avoiding. He pulled out his phone and opened something. Then he turned it toward me. It was a text thread between Emily and our mother. I started reading. The messages went back months. My mother asking Emily how wedding planning was going, congratulating her on the new house, asking about baby names. Then I saw a message from Emily. "Claire's coming to the shower. I'm going to make sure everyone knows how different our lives are." My mother's response: "Just don't be too obvious about it. You know how sensitive she can be." I looked up. "Mom knew?" Marcus nodded. "She knew Emily was planning to humiliate you, and she didn't stop her. She actually encouraged it." I felt sick. Emily wiped her eyes. I showed Marcus everything. All the messages, all the times Mom compared us, all the times she told me I was doing better than you. I set the phone down. "Why are you showing me this?" "Because you deserve to know the truth," Marcus said. "And because Emily and I have been talking about cutting back on how much we involve your parents in our lives." Emily nodded. "Marcus made me realize that Mom's been pitting us against each other our whole lives, and I've been letting her." I looked at her. "You've been doing more than letting her. You've been participating." "I know, and I'm sorry, really sorry." We sat in silence for a moment. Then I said, "What about Dad?" Emily sighed. "Dad just goes along with whatever Mom says. He always has. So he knew too. Probably. Or he didn't care enough to ask. That was somehow worse." Marcus leaned forward. "Look, Claire, I know this doesn't fix anything, but I wanted you to know that I see what's been happening, and I'm not okay with it. Emily's not okay with it anymore either." I looked at Emily. "Are you really not okay with it? Or are you just saying that because Marcus called you out?" She was quiet. Then she said, "Both. I'm saying it because Marcus made me see how messed up it was. But I mean it. I don't want to be that person anymore." "What person?" "The person who needs to put you down to feel good about myself." I took a sip of my tea, trying to process everything. "What do you want from me?" Emily looked at Marcus, then back at me. "I want to try to fix this. I know it won't happen overnight, but I want to try." "And Mom and Dad? We're setting boundaries with them," Marcus said. "We've already started. We told them we're not discussing you anymore, and we're not participating in any more comparisons or comments." "How did they take that?" "Not well," Emily said. "Mom called me selfish. Dad said we were overreacting. Of course they did." Emily reached across the table, but stopped short of touching my hand. "I don't expect you to forgive me right away, but I want you to know that I see what I did, and I'm going to do better." I looked at her for a long moment. Then I said, "I need time. I understand, and I need you to understand that this isn't just about the baby shower. This is about years of feeling like I didn't matter, like I was only valuable when I made you look good by comparison." She nodded, tears streaming down her face now. "I know." I stood up. "I'll think about it, but I can't promise anything." "That's fair," Marcus said. I left the coffee shop and sat in my car for a while. Then I drove to my parents' house. I didn't plan to, but I needed to say something I should have said years ago. My mother answered the door. "Claire, what a surprise. Come in." I stayed on the porch. I'm not coming in. I just need to say something. She looked confused. Okay, I know you knew about the baby shower. I know you encouraged Emily to humiliate me. Her face went blank. That's not true. I saw the messages, Mom. She was silent. I continued. For my entire life, you've treated Emily like she was more important than me. You paid for her college. You helped with her wedding. You gave her money for a house. And every time I asked for help, you told me I'd be fine on my own. We gave you what we could. You gave Emily what she wanted and me what was left over. She crossed her arms. Emily needed more support. No, you wanted her to have more because she made you look good, because she did everything you wanted her to do. And I didn't. That's not fair. It's true. And I'm done pretending it's not. My father appeared behind her. What's going on? I looked at him. Did you know Mom encouraged Emily to humiliate me at the baby shower? He glanced at my mother, then back at me. I don't get involved in these things. That's the problem, Dad. You never get involved. You just sit there and let Mom play favorites. And then you act surprised when I'm hurt. He didn't say anything. I took a breath. I'm done. With both of you. I'm done being the daughter you only acknowledge when it's convenient. I'm done being compared to Emily. I'm done being told I'm fine when I'm not. My mother's voice was sharp. You're overreacting. No, I'm finally reacting. And I'm telling you that if you can't treat me with the same respect you give Emily, then I don't want to be part of this family. Her face went red. You're really going to throw away your family over this? You threw me away a long time ago. I'm just finally accepting it. I turned and walked back to my car. My mother called after me, but I didn't stop. I drove home, and for the first time in years, I felt something close to relief. Not happiness, not closure, just relief. That night, Marcus texted me. Emily told me what you said to your parents. I'm proud of you. That took guts. I stared at the message. Then I wrote back. Thanks. I don't know what happens now. He replied immediately. You figure out what you need, and you let people earn their way back into your life, not the other way around. I set my phone down and sat in the quiet of my apartment. For the first time in a long time, the quiet didn't feel lonely. It felt like mine. 3 weeks passed without any contact from my parents. No calls, no texts, no apologies. Emily texted me a few times. Short messages, checking in, never pushing. How are you doing? Just wanted you to know I'm thinking about you. No pressure to respond, just letting you know I'm here. I didn't reply right away, but I read them. And I appreciated that she wasn't trying to force anything. Then one evening, I got a call from my Aunt Carol, my mother's older sister. We'd always gotten along, but we weren't particularly close. I answered, Claire, honey, I heard what happened. I'm sure you did. Your mother called me. She's pretty upset. I didn't respond. Carol continued, but I also talked to Emily and Marcus, and I want you to know that I think you did the right thing. I sat up. You do? Yeah. I've watched your mother play favorites with you girls your whole lives, and I've wanted to say something for years, but it wasn't my place. But now that you've finally stood up for yourself, I wanted to tell you I'm proud of you. I felt my throat tighten. Thank you. She paused. I also wanted to ask if you'd be willing to meet me for lunch. Just the two of us. I have some things I think you should know. About what? About your mother and your grandmother, and a pattern that's been going on a lot longer than you realize. We met 2 days later at a small restaurant near her house. Carol was already seated when I arrived. She stood and hugged me. Thanks for coming, we ordered, and then she got straight to the point. Your mother and I grew up in a house where love was conditional. Our mother, your grandmother, she played favorites too. I was the smart one. Your mother was the pretty one. And we spent our entire childhood competing for attention. I didn't know that. Most people don't. Because your grandmother was very good at making it look like everything was fine, but it wasn't. Your mother internalized the idea that love had to be earned, and that some people were more deserving than others. So she's doing the same thing to me and Emily. Carol nodded. I think she is, and I don't think she even realizes it. She genuinely believes she's being fair. She genuinely believes Emily needs more and you're fine on your own. But I'm not fine on my own. I've just had to be. I know, and that's the tragedy of it. You've been surviving and she's mistaken that for thriving. We ate in silence for a moment. Then Carol said, I talked to your mother yesterday. I told her she needed to apologize to you, that she needed to take responsibility for how she's treated you. What did she say? She said you were being dramatic, that you'd come around eventually. Of course she did. Carol reached across the table and took my hand. I don't think she's going to change, Claire. I hope I'm wrong, but I've known her for 62 years, and she's never been able to admit when she's wrong. Then I guess I know where I stand. You stand exactly where you should, on your own terms. A week later, Emily called. Her voice was hesitant. Claire, I know you said you needed time, but I wanted to ask you something. Okay. The baby's due in 6 weeks, and I've been thinking about who I want in the delivery room. Marcus will be there, obviously, but I'd really like you to be there too. I was silent. She continued. I know I don't deserve it. I know I've been awful to you, but you're my sister, and I want you there. Not Mom. You. Why not, Mom? Because Marcus and I talked about it, and we decided that we need to set a boundary. We told Mom she can come to the hospital, but she can't be in the room, and we're not letting her stay at our house after the baby's born. How did she take that? She cried. She said we were punishing her, but we held firm. I took a breath. I need to think about it. I understand. Take all the time you need. 2 weeks later, I made my decision. I called Emily. I'll come to the delivery, but I need you to understand something. Anything. This doesn't mean everything's okay between us. It means I'm willing to try. But you have to keep doing the work. You have to keep setting boundaries with Mom, and you have to stop comparing yourself to me. I will. I promise. Okay, then I'll be there. She started crying. Thank you, Claire. Thank you so much. 6 weeks later, Emily went into labor. Marcus called me at 2 a.m. It's happening. Can you come? I'm on my way. I drove to the hospital and met Marcus in the waiting room. He looked exhausted and terrified and excited all at once. She's asking for you. I followed him to the delivery room. Emily was in the bed, hooked up to monitors, breathing through contractions. When she saw me, she reached out her hand. You came. I said I would. I stayed by her side for the next 8 hours. I held her hand. I got her ice chips. I told her she was doing great. And when the baby finally came, a healthy girl with dark hair and tiny fists, Emily looked at me with tears streaming down her face and said, I want to name her Caroline, after Aunt Carol, because she's the one who helped me see the truth. I felt something break open inside me. That's beautiful. Marcus held the baby first, then passed her to Emily. Then Emily looked at me. Do you want to hold her? I nodded. She placed Caroline in my arms. The baby was so small, so perfect, and for the first time in months, I felt something other than anger or hurt. I felt hope. My mother showed up an hour later. She walked into the room with flowers and a balloon and a smile that faltered when she saw me holding the baby. Oh, Claire, I didn't know you'd be here, Emily spoke up, her voice firm. I invited her. She was in the delivery room with me. My mother's face tightened. I see. She set down the flowers and looked at the baby. She's beautiful, Emily. Her name is Caroline, after Aunt Carol. My mother's smile disappeared completely. You named her after Carol? Yes. Not after me? No, Mom, not after you. The room went silent. My mother looked at me, then at Emily, then at Marcus. Then she said, I think I need to go. She walked out. Marcus looked at Emily. Are you okay? Emily nodded. Yeah, I'm okay. That night, after visiting hours ended, I went home to my apartment. My phone buzzed. A text from Emily. Thank you for being there today. It meant everything. I typed back. Thank you for choosing me. Over the next few months, things slowly shifted. Emily and I started talking more, not every day, but regularly. She sent me photos of Caroline. I stopped by to visit a few times. We didn't talk about our mother much, but we both knew the distance was there, and we both knew it wasn't going away. My mother tried to reach out once. She sent me a card on my birthday. Inside, she'd written, "I hope you're doing well. We miss you." No apology, no acknowledgement of what she'd done. I threw the card away. My father never reached out at all. And I was okay with that, because I'd learned something important. Family isn't supposed to be a competition. It's not supposed to require you to shrink so someone else can shine. And it's not supposed to cost you your dignity just to belong. Some people will tell you that you have to forgive family no matter what, that blood is thicker than water, that you only get one mother, one father. But those people didn't spend 29 years being told they were fine when they were barely holding on. So if you're listening to this, and you've ever been the child who had to be strong because asking for help meant being dismissed, I want you to know something. You're allowed to walk away, you're allowed to set boundaries, and you're allowed to build a life with people who see you, value you, and treat you like you matter. Because you do matter, not because of what you achieve or how little you need or how well you survive on your own, but because you exist, and that's enough. From my point of view, this story is a reminder that sometimes the people who hurt us most are the ones who taught us we didn't deserve better. And the strongest thing we can do isn't forgiving them. It's refusing to keep living by their rules. So I'll ask you this. Have you ever been made to feel small by the people who were supposed to lift you up? And if so, did you ever find the courage to walk away? If this story resonated with you, if it reminded you that your worth isn't determined by how others treat you, I'd be grateful if you'd subscribe. There are more stories like this, stories about people who chose themselves, and I'd love to share them with you.